Right. Hello everyone, I'm Marius. I'm the founder of Matcher. Matcher is about video games. Today you have 2 billion gamers in the world. Gaming is big, especially online team games. But on those games you have one big problem: teammates. Gamers don't like their teammates. They don't speak the same language, they don't cooperate, they're not even respectful. But I interviewed many gamers, and 90% of them prefer playing in teams. So they try to find another way. 70% of them are unsuccessful in doing so. To address that issue, I want to make a real-time matching platform. The user story is pretty simple. You go on Matcher, you log in, you press a big red match button, and in real time, we're going to find for you a team of other gamers that you're going to like, and you can play with them straight away. How do we do that? We gather your game data from your game account so that we know your level and your play style, and we ask you a bunch of questions about the experience you're looking for when you're playing. For example, are you playing for fun? Are you playing for competition? Then we match you in real time with people that have the same criteria. You play together. And at the end of the gaming session, we ask you to fill a small survey about your teammates to make sure that we have a healthy community and that it remains like it. And we check with the game statistics if actually the game was a good one. And that's what we did. We have an MVP, it's a website, it's online. We have around 400 matches on it with across 40 accounts. And thanks to this MVP, we learned that it would be very powerful to use softwares that gamers are already using, like Facebook Messenger. So the next step would be to make it a chatbot. We actually made this MVP because we got a first deal with a French video game influencer who was willing to pay $500 a month. So let me get more details about the business. Today you have gamers that became very famous. There are thousands and thousands of people following them on social networks and watching them play. They form a real community around themselves, and they make a living by selling the attention of that community. Those influencers are very interested in buying our solution to make their community able to play with each other more easily. So this is the kind of business we have in North America, European Union, and Korea. But the second goal of the company is to aim for developing markets. We're going to have millions of gamers coming in, but no ecosystems. Like countries like Vietnam, Philippines, Indonesia, Brazil. Here, we want to make our own service, our free service, and have premium features targeting at like middle, upper class gamers who want to have a VIP experience and a toxic-free community. In terms of the ecosystem and competition, on one side, you have the game makers. Of course, a game maker's job is to make people play and spend time in game. On the other side of the spectrum, you have the influencers and the communities, whose role is to drive social engagement further, as well as content creation. The issue is that game makers cannot take the social aspect further, and that social figures cannot turn it into game experience. And that's what we are. Matcher wants to be the missing link between the two, and turning the actual social experience into gaming time. And by that, we drive player engagement further than ever before. To help me with that, I'm partnering with my co-founder, Nicolas, who is taking care of everything technical. We're both passionate of Japan and video games, and we have extensive experience in managing and being part of various gaming communities across continents. In terms of our timeline, we are going full-time from the startup from now. And 2018 will be about making a global, profitable, and scalable model so that we can raise funds in early 2019 to really expand and conquer the developing markets we were talking about. By 2020, we want to become the leaders in player matchmaking and being at the core of the ecosystem between game makers, influencers, and gamers. Finally, I'd like to talk about our vision. I had the best times of my life, personally, playing games and being involved in gaming communities. And I actually met my best friend by playing games online. We really believe that there is a social potential for gaming and that we didn't unlock it yet. At the same time, today, gaming's image is still very associated to isolation, being remote, being asocial, and we want to fight that. So that's why we're looking for investors and partners to help us reach our goals. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Marius, for the great presentation. So we know that gaming is a growing market and it's very interesting where it's headed. Can you kind of dive into your business model? Like you kind of talked about the influencer and he was willing to kind of pay you guys for it. What is the actual business model and what benefit does the customer get and what are you guys providing for them?
All right. So We have two kinds of business models. I'll start with the first phase you were talking about, with the influencers. Very concretely, in every country where the gaming market is developed, like the US and France and Germany and Korea, you have around 20 very big influencers across games. And they're making a living really by selling the attention of their fan base. And they're really trying to gather people around them and to form their own communities with their own gaming servers and their own websites. And it's kind of a race for them to improve players' engagement. And the missing thing today in those communities is that people actually don't play together. I had influencers coming at me and telling me, I have 4,000 people on my server, but we can't make them play together because we don't have any powerful solution to help us doing it. So this is why I got inspired by this idea first, because I saw a business opportunity. And yeah, as I said, you have at least 20 of those communities across 10 countries, so you can easily imagine how much money we could make. The second thing I observed was, as I wrote here, 400 million online PC gamers projected in Southeast Asia by 2020. This is a scale that we've never seen before. And as I also showed here, that's a problem that game makers cannot tackle themselves. Because making a game, the expertise of making a game is very different than the one of matching people. And the social actors, the influencers, the communities, don't have any mean to turn that experience into the game. And this is where we think we have a role to play. We're aiming at, on those markets, at like middle upper class people who are willing to pay a monthly fee, let's say $5 a month, to have a VIP gamer experience where we would make sure that they have a toxic-free community and have enhanced social interactions with others. That answers to the question.
Yeah, thank you.
So on the, you said $5 a month is what they pay.
Yeah.
Once they've started, what is the incentive for them to keep wanting to do another month? Because they'll have already met some people and they've already started to engage. So what's going to bring them back again to pay more money?
All right, so two answers to this. The first one, we learned with the MVP that it was really important to create some sort of notion of progression for players. Because ultimately, most of players who play video games wants to improve. And the best way to improve in video games is with peer coaching. So that would be a first way to incentivize inside the game and outside the games with, for example, awards or comments from other people, that progression within the game. The second answer to that question is that compared to 10 years ago, today's games are way more multiplayer, way more centered around teammates, but they're also way more casual and faster. Meaning that 10 years ago, you would be a hardcore gamer doing a game session for like 5 hours, and you would have all of your friends around you. But now, people play like games like Fortnite or League of Legends. They spend 30 minutes in there playing, and they don't want to wait for people to join them. So we think that even if you make friends on the platform, you're always going to have that need of immediate teammates, and your current friend will not always be online. And this is actually a feedback that I got from users, and they're also motivated doing the MVP.
Can I ask one more? And have you thought about like advertising on the site as well? Like, will you allow other companies to advertise, so then you bring the cost down and you make your money more from selling banner ads for brands and things like that?
Yeah, exactly. The subtleness is that in developed markets, this ecosystem already exists. Meaning the advertising kind of market is centered around influencers. So we are kind of a link. We help influencers getting more money from advertisers, so they pay us. But the day we're going to go on developing market, we're going to have our own communities. We're going to be the influencers. And here, we're going to sell the attention of gamers. And it's very interesting because we want to take engagement further and further. And this is what is interesting for, let's say, keyboard makers, game controller makers, people that play a lot and are really attached to the community they're in.
Okay, thank you for your nice presentation. Okay, so what is your vision through this business and after this business? Just two questions.
Yeah. So as I said, the broad vision behind it is to unlock the social potential of gaming. Very personally, as I said, I had many great times playing games with my friends, And I thought it was something obvious. I thought it was something everyone had when they were playing with friends. And I met a lot of players who actually didn't have any friends in game and they were always playing by themselves. So my ideal 5-6 years into the company would be to be able to deliver that experience to everyone. So after the company, it would kind of be a way to revolutionize gaming even further, because if you take the progression of gaming in those last 10 years, it has become way more accessible and way more casual, and it has been part of real life more and more. Meaning that now, you have a very famous game called Fortnite, for example. The Fortnite character moves are being done by NFL players, by NBA players as celebration. It kind of broke into the mainstream sphere. And as I said, gaming still has a very bad image. So the goal would be to make something totally acceptable and socially very valuable for the world. Yeah.